That's March 16th, 2015. So anyway, Stacey Lowe was saying it's just acting. And if you act, do a really good job acting, you can get a lot of money. And I was like, well, how would I get a lot of money? And she said, well, the government's going to offer you a very, very well-paying job. And I said, well, doing what? And she said, well, just kind of doing more of what you're doing what you'd be doing right there. You'd just be acting. And I thought to myself, well, there are lots of people that act, like celebrities and, movie stars, actors, actresses. And all I have to do is act. And I didn't want to keep, and I said, well, I don't want to keep doing that kind of work. That's not what I want to do. I mean, I don't want to act like that all the time is what I said. And she said, oh, you wouldn't. She said, you just do a really good job of this, and then you can do a whole bunch of other things, and they'll have you act for a lot of different kinds of things. And not things like dancing on a pole or anything like that, but other things. And I said, well, like what? She said, well, you can have certain things that you say at your work or job, and you'd have a really good job. And certain people you meet, or maybe you'd have friends over and from work, and you could maybe get some information for the government or something and just act and pretend like you're not doing that at all. And you can get a lot of money. So then basically what it kind of in hindsight sounded like is they wanted me to be a spy. But they never put it to me that way. They never said, well, we want you to act so that you can spy for us. They just, and whether or not they really wanted me to spy for them, I think that that's highly doubtful. I don't think that they really wanted me to spy for them because they were already guilty of torturing me so badly. Why would they trust me, to do any spying for them? They're so nuts that they think that, I think one of their objectives is, can we torture and rape and hurt this girl so much that it's possible to exert such a Stockholm influence over her, Stockholm syndrome influence over her, that she works for us and is a very loyal employee. I don't think that any of those individuals who programmed me and tortured me ever expected loyalty from me. And that was one thing that they kept bringing up, loyalty, because that's what it all hinged on. No matter how talented someone was. If you don't have loyalty, it's not going to work. It will backfire. So they already knew that. They already knew that, oh yeah, she might remember some things, and what if she starts resenting us or doesn't like us because we did such and such. So I think that it was basically just a lie, another lie from them, to degrade me and to make me look trashy, to be dancing around a pole, and to make fun of me, because I think what they really planned to do was to humiliate me in court and kidnap my babies from me, which they'd already told me they would do if I didn't agree to work with them and train my kids with them. And then I think they wanted to then rub it in my face later, because really I think because they hated me. And why they hated me, I'm not sure. But, when you have a very large group of adults stealing from a little girl, it's not something to feel very proud of yourself over. It could make some macho men feel kind of wimpy, actually. And make their women feel kind of shitty because, their macho men are not so macho. And it's just never going to be a win-win situation, ever. You can't make someone a slave like that and then all of a sudden expect to be making that much money off of them, and then be pretending to have them working with you as one of their equals, and that you never have to worry about them turning on you because of all the crimes they committed against you in the past. So the government's fully aware of that. They're never going to put someone like that in the top secret spot of collecting a bunch of information. They're never going to make someone like that the president or the CIA director or anything like that. So, and even just a spy. Are they really frickin' going to trust someone to quote-unquote spy for them? Even just as like some kind of a, I don't know, like low-level FBI agent spy? Are they even going to do that? You know, they might use someone and exploit the situation the best that they can, but they're never going to start paying someone. And all of the work and things and use and things that the government forced me to do, they never once paid me. They were writing a bunch of checks. They were forcing me to work for them. And a bunch of checks were being written, and the money was never going to me. And it wasn't going to my parents either. My parents didn't have a bank account that was expanding. It was getting sent to other little brats who didn't work for it. You know, I was working for it. And so, you know, and other government people, it's like my money was getting laundered all over the place. So anyway, their idea of having me raped and degraded was to have me dance on this pole telling me, oh yeah, we'll pay you a lot of money because you'll have a really good job one day. And so I did that. I thought they were telling the truth. And I thought they were telling the truth because they were all these government people, you know, and everything that you're ever taught in school and everywhere else is that you have to respect authority, and that you have to, and that it's these authoritative persons who are protecting the country and who are protecting your rights. And, you know, they're the big patriots. They work for the government, so they are working in the public interest of all, you know, as morally upright citizens with lofty ideals on how to dispense justice to all. That kind of thing. You know, same garbage that all of us get. But some of us benefit from it, and some of us don't. And so what they did is they decided it'd be funny to have me set up to be degraded in front of a huge group of government people. I would say, you know, between around 40 people in a room, and from different various government agencies. And they brought a bunch of kids. Some of the girls were women that they used later to lie about me and slander me. And then almost every single boy that was there, who was actually, some of them even younger than me, they were all getting raised and primed to stalk me out later in the future, find me in a vulnerable state, and to rape me. And that's what they did. I remember the boys that were there, and they are the ones that suddenly showed up out of the blue when I didn't recognize them when I was older. And I didn't realize who they were until much later. I started realizing, you know, you just meet someone, you don't always connect the dots instantly, or even when you're with them all the time. But later you realize, oh yeah, I remember those people, and they had that last name. And he looked exactly like so-and-so, and oh yeah, and he was related to such and such, and they were from this area. And you just start really, you know, piecing things together. So anyway, they were telling me to dance around this pole, saying "get down," and making fun of me every time I ducked, because they were telling me to do this sexual kind of a dance. But then I was also being told to get down because they knew that triggered a little bit of post-traumatic stress disorder, because I had a little bit of that after working as a sniper for the government. They never paid me for that either. I was killing people. And the government likes to use little kids to kill people. I'll tell you that. And they made me kill a lot of people. And I think that's another reason that this fucked up government wants to call me crazy. It's because they don't want me talking about how they use little kids to be their fucked up soldiers, as they would say. And, you know, anyway, was being made fun of after I did all those things that this government made me do, including doing sniper work, which they also told me I'd be paid for, and I was never paid for. They were sitting there making fun of my doing that. So basically, like anybody who came back from Vietnam or trying to serve their quote-unquote country, who thought that's what they were doing. Well, here's your country, including the leaders, the officials, and the people who run these agencies and work in these agencies, and they're making fun of you like you're the stupidest, dumbest shit they ever saw. And not just that, you are a real slut. You know, you're not even 13 years old, but this government thinks you are just a trashy whore. And they're going to make sure that you just keep getting raped. And that's what they did. And they've never given me any thanks for the fact that this country is partly still afloat, as I said, because of the money that they made off of my songs. You know, where would this country be, actually, if you take away all of that money that was made by other performers? And yeah, you can give the performers themselves some credit, and you can give the people who acted as musicians and played the music some credit, and stage people a little credit for putting the props up. But I was the one with the material. I was the one who wrote the songs. You know, I wrote the music and I wrote the songs, and without that, they had nothing. You know, at least, I mean, yeah, they had other songs, they had other people writing for them, but for the ones, for my songs, the ones that made money, I was their foundation. You know, I was their cornerstone. And I am still their cornerstone. And they like to walk on that. They don't like to respect it. They want to walk on it. And so they never gave me credit for any of that. And they also never paid me for any of the other things I did. And I was never considered to be noteworthy in any way, except for maybe a few people, you know, here and there. I think that they were impressed or they felt bad for me and whatever, but too many of them are just motivated by greed. So they made me do this, and then one of the individuals who was in that group who was watching me do this pole dance was Joy Sterling, and she came up to me after I did that, and she said, "You will never marry my son." And they were saying with some women, "Yes, it's Mike. It's going to be Mike," because they were already plotting and planning to have these little boys rape me. And when they were older, and I was older. And so one of them started freaking out, and like some of them are government psychics. So I guess one of them was starting to see into the future or something. And she flipped out about it, and started saying things to me like, "You will never marry Mike." And I'm thinking, you know, crazy lady. I mean, are you serious? You made me babysit your kid and change his diapers, and you think that I want to marry your baby? Even if he's older someday, I highly doubt it. And, you know, why would I have anything romantic to do with your son? But she was going off about it, and it was Joy Sterling and Joy Sterling Tanzer. And her kid is Mike Tanzer, the one that I talked about, who did rape me. He did seek me out. He did have a mission. And his mission is pretty nuts, just like the missions of all these kids who did these horrible things to me. And I think they did it just to say that they could and to have me look crazy. Or not crazy, possibly more like a vengeful, rejected, maybe like kind of whorish, consenting sexual person who was then falsely accusing all of their poor, you know, government men. Because I think, I'm pretty sure, I'm very sure that they documented all that. And I think that their entire motive was to say that I falsely accused people so that if they couldn't say I was crazy or mentally ill, then alternately they could say I made a bunch of false reports and I was, right, or they could either say, you know, she doesn't remember things correctly and she's nuts, or they could say she's just a liar and she lies about people, so don't believe anything she says. And they needed that for themselves because the level of crimes that they were committing against me were gruesome. And it worked in their favor to make these lies up and to have it look that way. So they're very motivated to have something to use against me. But next clip.